Welcome back, everyone, to the HeatWave Podcast, part of the Roundtable Sports Network. Before we begin today's episode, I'm kindly asking you to please scan the QR code and join the Miami Heat site on Roundtable. Click the join button to be a part of the community. It's right under our stories. You see a little join button. Click that, be a member. It's absolutely free. No subscriptions, no fees, no paywalls, none of that. Just create an account. You can use your Google account and you're set up and you will be in tune with daily coverage. Oh my gosh. Everyone. Giannis Antetokounmpo will soon officially be a member of the Miami Heat. Imagine uttering those words if it was 6 years ago. You would never believe that Giannis would ever leave Milwaukee. 13 years there. He delivered the organization its first NBA championship since 1971, back in 2021. A 50-year gap, Giannis did what many doubt could be done. He is among the top in several franchise records. And now he comes down to South Florida. Absolutely insane. Now, of course, I am recording this about an hour or so after the news came out. And before that, throughout the whole day, throughout Monday, I kept telling myself, if Giannis does not get traded today, I do not believe a trade will happen, regardless of if it's the Heat or the Boston Celtics, which was very much down to the wire between those two. If a trade was not done by the end of Monday, I did not believe ahead of the NBA draft that the Bucks would trade Giannis. I didn't believe it. 11:56 approximately around that time. Giannis is getting traded to the Heat. Talk about saved by the bell. This I want to say this. I'm someone who's been a critic on team president Pat Riley. I've been a big critic of him. Of course, when you miss out on guys like Kevin Durant twice, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Bradley Beal, even though yes, that one was a bit of a reach, but still that was something at the time. Missing out on several All-Stars that could have been big help for the Jimmy and Bam combo. Missing out on so many guys, it was stressful because, of course, Jimmy was a guy who delivered in the playoffs. He just needed a bit of help to get over the hump. Obviously, the chapter closed before that could happen, but it was stressful every single time when the Heat were rumored to get a supposed superstar, and if they don't get him, he goes somewhere else, and then we're back to square one. Even with these rumors, it felt like it was the same thing. Or yes, they're linked. The Heat are front runners. The Heat are the favorites, and it goes nowhere for a moment. But now we get to this point. It is insane. Now, let's get to the deal. According to Shams Charania, ESPN insider, alongside with Giannis, Bobby Portis is joining the Heat organization. That is a tremendous addition to this package. You're getting a veteran who, one, plays with a great level of intensity, can shoot the three very, very well, and he's been a 10-plus points per game scorer in the last 6 to 7 years. Please, no jokes. But he's been a really, really good scorer on great shooting splits over the last several years with Milwaukee. and he's finished top 10 in Six Man of the Year 3 times in the last few years. He's one of those guys that you just know that if he was a part of Heat culture, he was a great fit. And now that will be the case. And he does provide that 3 and D presence, a guy who can shoot from behind the arc at a great efficiency and just defend with intensity, with pride. Someone you just know that he's going to be just, great and doesn't get bullied defensively. You really The Heat really just upgraded that front court. You're gonna have Bobby Portis, whether as a starter or reserve, but you're going to have a lineup with Bobby Portis, Giannis, and Bam. That is an absolutely amazing defensive front court. Oh my goodness. That this puts the Heat among the title contenders in the Eastern Conference. Without this trade, I'd be saying that the Heat are not contenders. That would be my honest opinion, regardless of how the offseason goes. Because to me, this was Giannis or bust, and they get him. So there's no end all be all no more. But the Heat, I can confidently say, are title contenders. Now, they give up Tyler Hero. That was the most non-kept secret, Everyone knew that if the Heat are going to get Giannis, Tyler is gone. And, there was a lot of ups and downs with Tyler. He had great moments, but he also had some bad moments, especially in the playoffs. Outside of the 2020 bubble, Tyler has underperformed in the playoffs. And it's cost the Heat sometimes because, of course, they're relying on this guy to be another scoring option. But when you compare Tyler's stats to the regular season and the playoffs, there is a big difference. Points per game, field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, even assists. He's not the same in the postseason. Now, you return home. Tyler Hero is from Wisconsin, so he does return home to familiar territory. And funny enough, throughout the saga, his girlfriend, Katya, she got a comment on her TikTok, one of her TikTok videos about, oh, Tyler's getting traded to Milwaukee, and she was like, "Hey, that's home. I have no issue with that." I'm paraphrasing, of course, but hey, she better have no issue now. But this is just insane. Wow, I'm still in awe. Okay, Tyler, wishing him the best, but this was almost a guaranteed divorce. One, the Heat did not extend Tyler last summer. That would have probably not even allowed them in the race, honestly. Tyler is under a 1-year contract now. So we'll see if he extends or maybe hits the free agent market next year. We'll see. But in the meantime, Tyler is now back at home and wishing him the best. But this was guaranteed practically, regardless of Giannis or not. Alongside Tyler is Kel'el Ware. That one you knew for sure you had to give him up to get a guy like Giannis. As they say, in order to get talent, you have to sacrifice talent. Kel'el Ware is a very, very good talent. Now, of course, he had some moments with Eric Spoelstra throughout the season. Whether you agree with it or not, it happened. Growing pains are going to happen to every young player, regardless of star status, regardless. And for Ware, he showed great moments, great flashes. So I'm sure if you're the Bucks, you're hoping that he can be consistent with it, showing out, and just dominate. just dominate. And he's a really, really good center, a guy who can get you, 15 points, 11 rebounds a game. He's so, so good. The sky is the limit for him, and he can space the floor out way better than Giannis. So the Bucks have a really, really good young player in him. Now, Jaime Jaquez Jr., that one was a big sacrifice. Runner up for Sixth Man of the Year just this past season. And he was a guy that really fit the Heat, and he really modeled his game after Jimmy. He really did, especially when it comes to the mid range. Jaime was just, he really found himself again this past season because the year prior, he went through sophomore slumps, just a down year, and it was obviously very hard on him. And then this past season, he really bounced back, and props to him. I asked him at the end of the season presser just for him, what it takes to complete such a bounce back after one off season. And he mentioned how, there's a lot of mental to it. And for him to overcome mental battles for anybody is a great, great victory. And then the final player involved in this trade, at least on the Heat side, Kasparis Jakučionis, the rookie guard who many compared to Goran Dragic. He had some flashes, especially as a playmaker. But again, to get talent, you have to sacrifice talent. And in this case, you knew that the Heat had to sacrifice the young core. You knew you had to do that to get a guy like Giannis. And it is so, so well worth it. The fact that you actually kept Pelle Larsson away from this is actually a big success for the Heat's front office. Now let's get to the draft capital. Of course, you're giving up the number 13th pick in this NBA draft. Now, this deal, because of restrictions with the first apron, the Heat cannot complete this trade with the Bucks until July 6th. So this gives them an opportunity to maybe extend the deal, maybe send a few players to different destinations, maybe get more draft capital involved from other teams. We'll wait and find out. And listen, as more of the news unraveled here at Roundtable, we will for sure keep that up. We'll catch up always. But as of right now, it's a 1-1 team deal. But they have until July 6th to extend it even further. Now, of course, the Heat will be selecting for the Bucks with the number 13th pick. The Bucks already had number 10. So the fact that you're getting 2 lottery picks in this draft, a class that is very, very deep, you are in a great position to rebuild your franchise. You already have three young players. I'm not counting Tyler in this. I'm counting Kelly Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., and Kasparis Jakučionis. You have 3 guys who can be a supporting cast for your new team, and then you get 2 lottery picks in this draft class. Very, very talented, by the way. This is the best way to really start your rebuild. And this is something that the Boston Celtics could not offer. I'll get to that, of course. I will get to that. Now, along with the number 13th pick, the Milwaukee Bucks are getting 2 unprotected first rounders in 2031 and 2033. They also get a pick swap, 2030. And finally, a 2033 second rounder. Again, this is what's happening as of right now. Because the Heat and the Bucks cannot finalize this trade with the league until July 6th with the restrictions, they have an opportunity to extend the deal even further. But as of right now, this is the package. You get 4 players, and you get, let's see, 1, number 13th, 2030 pick swap, 2031, 2033, and 2033 second rounder. You get 5 picks. 4 players, 5 picks. Truly amazing. Wow. And of course, the Boston Celtics. They were really giving the Heat a great challenge. But the offer was not going to be, regardless of what was said outside, the Boston Celtics offer was not as intriguing as the Miami Heat, especially when we're talking about a rebuild. Yes, getting a guy like Jaylen Brown, a former finals MVP, a guy who this past season was an MVP caliber player. And you could say, he could lead your team. That's debatable in the playoffs. We'll see. I mean, that's up to you to decide. But according to Shams Charania, the Celtics offer featured Jaylen Brown and 2 first-round picks. Likely the one in this year's class, which would be, let me just double check real quick. We could be talking number 27, the first round, or number 40. Not so intriguing in my opinion. Even if we're talking future first rounders, still, no way. Absolutely no way. And there was a separate report that mentioned that the reason why the Bucks were hesitant to take that Celtics deal was because they didn't want to risk Jaylen Brown being unhappy and looking to force a trade either this summer or maybe in the near future. Jaylen Brown's a great player. Really good player. But I don't think that should be enough to make it an equal swap for Giannis, in my opinion. Especially with the lack of draft capital. And apparently, the Celtics were not willing to give up Hugo Hernandez. That was the breaking point for an 18-time NBA winning championship franchise. Hugo Hernandez. Truly insane what these front offices are thinking and how they're operating. That is truly insane. Now, obviously, with the Heat, this is a championship or bust season. All right, you get a guy like Giannis, you are expected to win. The play-in tournament is not acceptable in any shape, form, matter, none of it. You are expected to win a championship. In the last 8 years, we have seen 8 different NBA champions. 4 of them from the Eastern Conference. The Bucks in 2021. The Knicks just right now. The Boston Celtics. And the Toronto Raptors. The Heat can absolutely get out of the East right now. Now, of course, you have other factors to weigh in. Andrew Wiggins, he still has not yet picked up or declined his player option. He still has a few more days to get that done. Again, this could all change after recording. But as of right now, he has not declined or picked it up. But you would certainly want him back because he proved he had good flashes throughout the season, even though I thought he was a bit inconsistent. And I wasn't exactly pleased with his full season performance. But he has some good flashes. I have to admit that he does have some good flashes. Again, one of the best two-way players in the league. Very valuable, by the way. A lot of the league loves Andrew Wiggins. But then you wonder, what do the Heat do with Norman Powell? Now the Heat have his bird rights, so they can re-sign him and go over the cap. They're allowed to do that. But is it worth it for a 30-plus-year-old veteran guard who, yes, is coming up an All-Star season, but showed availability issues throughout the second half of the year? Is it worth it? Now, of course, you definitely and the Heat can re-sign him right now because before free agency fully opens, every NBA team is allowed to negotiate a contract extension right now with their own free agents. So for the Heat, that's Norman Powell. We'll see how far the Heat go to extend him, but if I'm Powell, yes, I would love to capitalize off my All-Star season, but I'm definitely not guaranteed another one. And I get to return to a familiar place in much better conditions because now I have Bam Adebayo, one of the best defenders in the league, period. Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of the most dominant players in the league. Bobby Portis, another great two-way player. You are essentially returning to a winning situation. So these are factors that I think will make Powell's decision not tougher, but I think just there has to be more thought put into it. So that will be very, very interesting to see what happens. I don't know. I don't understand how the Bucks came close if the offer was Jaylen Brown and 2 first rounders. I don't get how that was pushing it this crazy as it was, but here we are. Here we are. The Miami Heat get Giannis. Absolute cinema. And for this to happen at midnight, especially before I was going to bed, I'm a night owl person. I stay up late at night all the time. I stay up late doing articles for even for the Heat at times when I can. But I'm always staying up late. And also, I have to admit, because of the way the Luka trade happened, which happened like at what 2 in the morning on the East Coast, something like that. I had to stay up. I had to stay up, and I'm glad I did. I'm really, really glad I did to get this pod up, to get the story up. By the way, it's already up. It's been up. So this is truly insane. The fact that the Heat get a superstar and one that can absolutely carry them to the Larry O'Brien, the ultimate goal. That press conference when Giannis comes is going to be absolutely insane. And I know right now we're not going to be allowed to ask the Heat or Giannis anything Heat related because, again, the trade's not official. But afterwards, it's going to be truly insane to go back to Kaseya Center, to go back to the Heat practices, and to see, to be in the presence of such greatness is going to be insane. Wow. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a Heatle. Let that soak in, people. Antetokounmpo is a Heatle. My, oh my. That'll be all for today on the HeatWave Podcast, part of the Roundtable Sports Network. Once again, I kindly ask you that you please scan the QR code to join the Miami Heat site on Roundtable. Click the join button. You'll see it right under our stories. You can create an account on Roundtable. It's free. Just use your Google account and you're all set. Again, no paywalls, no subscriptions, no fees included. It's absolutely free. So please support the Roundtable Sports Network. Stay tuned to all of our Miami Heat coverage. And thank you very much. I will get my sleep.